Welcome, my name is Jesse and you are listening to The Wake Up Call. This show is about opening your eyes to how you've been living, bringing awareness to the standard you've been operating at, and helping you start living to your full potential. There are two ways I'll help you do this. One, by disciplining your mind, and two, by strengthening your body. It's time to take stock of your current performance and go to the next level. Let's do this. Guys, welcome back to another edition of The Wake Up Call. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about the importance of having structure and routine in your life. Now, this is something that can often get people divided. Some people like to operate a little bit more flexibly and a little bit more dynamically, and some people need to be very regimented. I am of the opinion that you need structure and routine to function as a high performer. So what I mean by that is, as a high performer, you are somebody who has goals and ambitions and targets you are striving for. So this might be with your career, might be with your health and fitness and your body, and it might also be with your relationships. Whatever it is, I feel you need some form of structure in place. You need to have some form of organization to operate at a high level. If you think about any world-class athlete, a high-level CEO, or anybody who has reached the top of their field, it is because they are highly organized, they have structure, and they have routine. And there is no difference between them and you. Well, maybe there is, but the reason they got to the top is because they were skilled enough at what they did, and they did the right things for a long enough period of time. And you can do these right things for your goals as well, but you just need a starting point and a platform. Okay, and this is where a lot of people, they don't take the time to do what I'm about to share with you here today. They don't develop routines and structures for their life. Okay, and this is where you're going to become a master of controlling your time. I want you to be a control freak when it comes to your time. You see, most people, they defer control and authority and responsibility of their day to somebody else. And that's why they never have enough time. You know, I don't have enough time to exercise. I don't have enough time to make a healthy dinner. I didn't have time to brush my teeth. I didn't have time to read a book. Well, here's a fun fact for you. We all have the same 24 hours. So what you do or what you don't do in your life is a direct reflection of your priorities. Whatever is important to you in your life right now is what you do. So you will make excuses or you will make a change. And it comes down to having the structure and routine in place. And I want to run you through what I personally do, and then I want to help implement some of these tools for yourself so you can improve your body and your life and the quality of it. So for me personally, I am a very organized person. I like structure. It gives me guidance and it helps me navigate through my day. So if I don't plan anything, okay, I'm going to fall for whatever comes my way. If I receive an email, bang, I'll check that. If I don't have anything or any tasks to do, I'm just going to potter around the house and do nothing. If I don't have an exercise routine or a program in place, when I go to train, I'm going to have to wing it or make it up on the spot. And if I do that over a long enough period of time, I'm not going to get any results because what I do is going to change from day to day, from week to week. You see how that works? When you don't have routine and structure, your efforts are varied. And I'm not sure about you, but I don't want varied results. I want consistent results in one direction. And I'm going to start off with a bit of a story here so you guys get a bit of a context of how I actually came to be a person of discipline and have structure and have routines working for me and my goals. So just quickly, if you don't stand for anything, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Okay, that's a quote you can start to implement and think about in terms of your day-to-day life and what you actually incorporate. So for me, I have my purpose and I have my goals. I know what I'm here to do and I know who I'm here to serve. I want to help you do the same for your life so you can get the results that you want. But just quickly, I want to run you through a story. And this was kind of the beginning of how I became so organized and structured and did what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it. Now, when I was younger, my brother and I, we used to do Taekwondo. So I did it from the time I was about 6 until I was about 12. And I stopped when I was 12 because they changed the rules saying that you could no longer kick to the head until you were 14. But I've been kicking people in the head since I was really young, so I didn't really want to not kick people in the head for another 2 years. So anyway, that's a different story, but I thought I'd share that because it always makes me laugh. But anyway, one evening, my brother and I, we were going to Taekwondo practice. Mum was driving us, and we said to her, "Mum, we don't want to go to training tonight. We don't want to go to practice." And she just turned around and she said, "That's fine. You guys don't have to go. In the future, you don't have to go, but tonight you're going." So she said, "As long as you give me a week's notice, you don't have to go, but tonight you're going." So the reason she did that, and she explained it, is that you keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. We would train, I think, maybe once or twice a week and maybe once on the weekend for tournaments because we were at a high level. But on that specific day, we just didn't feel like doing it. So we said, "Oh, we don't want to go." Mum wasn't having any of it. You make a commitment, you stick to that commitment. That is the power of having structure and routine for your goals, for your life. And most people don't have it. But it's very simple to acquire if you commit to it. And the reason that I am so thankful that Mum instilled that in myself and my brother is because it carries over to every facet and every aspect of life. My fitness, my business, my relationships, my friendships, everything. So this is what I want you to think about really quickly. Have you ever made a commitment to yourself to go and train? So let's say maybe you decided to go and exercise and you were going to train or go to the gym after work. And then maybe you had a really stressful day at work. Things didn't pan out the way you wanted. And then at the end of the work, you've gone, "Fuck, I just don't feel like going. Nah, I'm not going to go. Nah, I just don't feel like it. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel like going." So then you don't do it. And then you feel shit for not going. So it's kind of like a double whammy. You broke a promise to yourself and you also didn't do the thing you needed to do to help you get close towards your goals. Damn. That feels pretty good, hey? No, it doesn't. But I understand. I have those times as well where I don't feel motivated or don't feel inspired to do something. And that's why having this structure and routine is so important, because you create it and you plan it when you know exactly what your goals are. So you don't just make it up on the spot. You set aside some time, which I hope you will do after listening to this podcast, and you will identify what is important to you. So what health and fitness goal is most important to you right now? You write that down. Because every action and every decision you make needs to align with that goal. Okay? Most people don't do that. Most people just do their daily activities and their daily tasks. And then at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, they're like, "Fuck, I was nowhere near my goal. How did that happen? I really wanted it. I even said it at the start of the year as my New Year's resolution. I want to achieve this. Why didn't it happen?" Well, it didn't happen because you didn't set your days up to make it happen. You didn't write down the daily decisions and actions you needed to take to make that become reality. And it baffles me, it boggles my mind how fully functioning adults cannot do very simple things. And the most simple task, I believe, is something elementary like setting a wake and bedtime. Setting a time that you wake up. Setting a time that you go to bed. I mean, when I was younger, Mum gave me a bedtime, but somewhere along the line, as we grow up, as we get older and we have more authority and responsibility, we think, nope, I don't have to do that anymore. Mum's not here to watch over me. That's bullshit. You have to monitor yourself. Now, the biggest excuse that people make for not achieving their goals is, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to train. I don't have enough time to make healthy meals. I don't have enough time to X, Y, Z. Well, we all have the same 24 hours. What you do with it is completely up to you. But this is what I want you to do. You can't change the number of hours that you have in a day. You can't have, 25 hours in a day. We're stuck with 24. We all have that level playing field. What I want you to control is your daily routine and schedule to create some routine and structure, some discipline in your life. So, let's say you work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You know when your work hours are. They are set, okay? Unless you can negotiate something with your boss or your employer to change those if you need to, you're stuck with 9 to 5. So let's use your example of exercise. If you plan to exercise, you know it either has to be before work or after work. So you need to decide, what's it going to be, AM or PM? Are you prepared to get up early in the middle of winter, when it's dark, when it's cold, when it's wet? Yes or no? So I don't consider myself a morning person, even though I have been waking up regularly at around 5 o'clock for years. I get up at 5:15 because it sets me up to operate at my best. So you need to decide what will help you operate at your best. If you're not prepared or willing to get up early in the morning to train, you're going to train in the afternoon, PM. So you organize exactly what time you're going to train. And you write that down and you set it as an appointment for yourself. So let's say you work 9 to 5. At 5:30, you have an appointment with yourself to train, to work on your body. If your goal is as important as you claim it to be, you will write it down in your diary, in your schedule, in your calendar, and nothing gets in the way. I see this happen all the time. People make plans and then they make plans on top of plans. No. Discipline yourself, put it in the diary, and if someone says, hey, Bob, do you want to go for a drink after work? Oh, let me just check my schedule here, Harold. 5:30. No, sorry, I've got an appointment. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to say why you can't make it. You just say, no, I'm sorry, I'm booked. I'm unavailable. You are unavailable. It's written in your diary. 5:30, train. That's as serious as you should take your goals. Because if you don't write it down, you're going to forget about it. Or if something else that you deem is a better option comes up, you're going to take it. Bob comes over and says, hey, you want to go and grab a drink? Fuck yeah, I want a drink. I've had a stressful day, man. Let's go. No. If you write it down, you schedule it, you make that commitment, you keep it. So there's your training squared away. You pick a couple days per week, you write down what day it is, what time it is, bang, training, done. So you've organized when you're going to wake up and you've organized when you're going to bed. You've got your work sorted, 9 to 5, and at 5:30 p.m. you train. Now, if you have hopes and aspirations of changing your body shape, size, the number on the scale, getting into a smaller clothing size, you need to watch what you eat. So I know, for me personally, I function best on 4 meals per day. I don't do the typical 3 meals. 4 works really well for me. I'm up for a long period of the day. I'm up at 5:15 and I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. That's a pretty big window to be awake. So I have 4 meals and I space them out throughout the day. But I know for me to function at my best, to achieve my goals, to train hard, to recover, and to maintain my weight, I need 4 meals. So you need to figure out what works for you. Do you function best with breakfast? Some people do, some people don't. Are you going to have 3 square meals? Or are you going to have a couple smaller meals? Decide. Just choose, pick. You don't have to stick to it forever, but once you figure out what works best for you, then you stick to it. So maybe you do a couple weeks of trialing 3 meals and 2 snacks. The snacks are not necessary, they're not essential, but you might need them to get you over the line. But trial and error is your friend here. But pick something and just start. So you figure out how many meals you eat and you stick to it. What are you going to drink? If your goal is weight loss or fat loss, I'm going to give you the best and the most easiest, or the simplest, I should say, not easiest, the simplest piece of advice ever. No calorie beverages. If you have a goal to lose weight, do not drink your calories. So what does that mean? It means you are going to stick to water, coffee with no milk, and tea, no sugar. Do not drink your calories. That is a very simple way to gain weight, by drinking calories. Don't do it. If your goal is fat loss, don't drink your calories. So you've identified what you eat, you've identified what you drink. What are you going to put in your brain, in your mind? You're already doing the right thing by listening to this podcast. Well done. I applaud you for that. You are on the right track. But what else are you doing? Are you reading? I have a bookshelf full of books from authors of all walks of life in areas that I personally want to improve. They are going to either help me personally or professionally with my business. You can do the exact same. So I'm sure you have people you look up to, mentors, idols, people who you aspire to be more like. You can go and buy books from the smartest people in the world who have ever lived. If they have authored something, you can buy that and learn directly from them. Which is why I advocate reading 10 pages of a book per day. Now, it's not necessarily the 10 pages itself that is going to turn you into some form of genius, but it's the consistent action. 10 pages a day. You do the math. 10 pages, 365 days, that's a lot of books. You can become very smart in a couple of areas if you are consistent. So I really try, myself personally, to control my inputs. What I watch, what I listen to, because they determine your thought process, your thinking, and therefore your actions. So I did a little test on my social media a couple of weeks ago, which aggravated a few people, and I had a good chuckle about it. I don't normally post pictures of food. The foods I eat are not, shall we call them, Instagram worthy. But anyway, I went online and I picked up some restaurant and I screenshotted a lot of pictures of burgers, chips, delicious drinks, juices, burritos, all the delicious foods, and I posted them one slide after the other. There's about 10, I think. If you look at certain foods or certain things on a regular basis, you become wired to want those things. For example, I don't want you to think about donuts. Don't think about donuts. Do whatever you can to not think about donuts. What does your brain do automatically? You think about the fucking donut. So if your newsfeed is full of, if you're a foodie or if you just look at foods and delicious places to go and eat this calorie-dense food, fuck, that's going to make eating well very challenging. Wouldn't you agree? So what you scroll by, what you read, what you listen to, it all impacts what you do and how you think. So that is something you can control as well. If you have loads of food places and they tempt you to want certain foods, maybe it's time to hit the unfollow button or hide. Whatever you need to do, you control your inputs. This is part of your routine and structure. I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but it's important because it does affect and influence the way you make decisions and what you do on a daily basis. And people, they think it doesn't matter. It's only one burger. Yeah, but what if they have a Tuesday special? What if they have a cheap Tuesday deal and you've had an absolutely shit day at work and then you just happen to scroll by it and be like, I'm going to go and grab myself a burger and chips. It derails progress. one small action at a time. They all add up, they all count, which is why you need to control your days and you need to control your routine as best as possible. And the way that you can do this, and the way that what I'm telling you can help to improve the quality of your life and help you build self-confidence and self-belief, is by tracking and measuring this over time. So let's say you've developed some unhealthy habits and you've fallen off the wagon and you've lost your exercise routine. What you can do is input these actions down on a piece of paper or in a habit tracker app. So you just go on any app store, download a habit tracker. I talked about this in one of the earlier podcasts. So let's say you set a wake up time of 5:30. So you put that in the habit tracker or on a piece of paper, wake up at 5:30, bang, done that, tick, awesome, one win on the board. Let's say you decided to have a specific meal for breakfast. Let's say it's porridge, berries with a protein shake with water. Bang, tick, that's 2 wins. Let's say you decide to listen to the Wake Up Call with Jesse Fulla on the way to work to get some good input and specific action items and advice for the day. Bang, tick, that's 3 wins, and you haven't even got to work yet. You've already done the meal preparation, you've taken your food with you to work because you are organized and it is in the fridge. So when lunchtime comes and all the boys and girls are going down the road for beers and burgers and chips, you've already got your meal. You eat that meal, bang, tick, 4 wins, 4 ticks on the board. Fuck, you're starting to build some momentum here and the day's not even halfway done. When you get home from work, you need to decompress. So perhaps you go into a nice quiet place and you read 10 pages of your book. You develop your mind. You start thinking positively. You're learning from other people who are better than you or are perhaps where you want to be. Bang, tick, 10 pages. So you're now inspired. You feel pretty good. Your work is out of your mind. You've got something positive, and then you go train. Bang, tick. That's a lot of ticks. And you've controlled every single one of those action items because you have structured your day directly for you, your purposes, and your benefits. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But it's very different to what most people do. Most people do things by default. They just do what they've always done. And that's why they always get what they've always got, which is average, mediocre. I don't want that for you. This podcast is about helping you go to the next level, to level up, to raise your standards, to improve your body, to make you more disciplined, so you can get what you want out of life and you can start to reach your potential. Average, no, not here. So I want you to start to become a person of discipline, implement a routine and structure to your day, and use that habit tracker system. Write down your actions, tick off your wins, and you watch. You start to build a chain. One day, tick, I won the day. Tomorrow, bang, ticks, ticks, ticks. You start to develop a massive amount of self-belief. And it's not one single action which is going to transform your life or transform your body. But if you win enough days in a row, your body in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, in 6 months from now is going to look drastically different. All because you took time to plan 1 week. Do you think that's a really good time investment? That sounds like a pretty good ROI, return on investment. You spend 30 minutes perhaps to set a routine and structure for your week to drastically transform the trajectory of where you're headed. That sounds like a pretty good ROI. That's what's possible for you if you take the time to do it. And sometimes doing these things, these activities, these tasks are not easy. You're not just going to sit there and in 5 minutes you'll be like, bang, I've got my action plan. You might have to move a few things around. You might have to make a few sacrifices. Maybe it's giving up that morning coffee with 3 sugars. Whatever it is for you, you might have to have a few trade-offs. But like I said, your actions speak volumes. You will always revert to what is most important to you. And if this stuff is important to you, if improving your body, improving your health, improving the quality of your life is important. You will take the time and you will do this. But if you don't, then you're just going to have to accept whatever life throws at you, or pick up the scraps for the rest of us who are creating structure and who are creating routine. Those are your options. Become a person of discipline, create the routine, create the structure, and follow through, or see what life hands you. The choice is yours. If you loved the Wake Up Call, found it entertaining, or got some benefit out of listening, I would appreciate you helping me to spread the word. Please share it with a friend or on social media so that you can pay it forward and give someone else the opportunity to improve themselves like you just have. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon for another episode.